In this policy of allowing communists in the military and in the merchant marines also extended to the State Department?
It did, not in terms of explicit orders, but it was very clear that the same mindset was used in the State Department in the mid-40s, and I have documents that show that, but the documentation is not quite that explicit, but it's yes.
Now, one of the things you show in your book is, I think a lot of people the popular mind might think, if the communists or the Soviets are trying to plant agents in the government of the United States, their primary reason would be to steal things and engage in traditional espionage. But they also had another aim in mind, did they not?
Right. Good question, and very much on point. Yes, they did want to engage in espionage. They were like a vacuum. They were just gathering up anything they could get, and they got thousands and thousands of documents were funneled to the communists, to the Soviets, by communists in our government, in the Atomic Energy Project, and elsewhere. So they certainly wanted to do that. But even more than that, and all the witnesses who knew anything about this, such as Whittaker Chambers, Elizabeth Bentley, Louis Boudin's, and others, and stressed later by Joe McCarthy, said they had another goal, which was even more important than espionage, and that was influencing policy. And that what they were really trying to do was to get people in positions of trust and influence where they could influence, guide, direct policy in the United States favorable to the Soviet interest, and they did. That happened in case after case. After case.
For example, in China.
China was a very good example. It happened before that in Yugoslavia. Communist agents in both the United States chain of intelligence and in the British chain were sending back data or propaganda in Yugoslavia, where you had competing factions, the anti-communist Mihailovich, the communist Tito, and were saying that, well, Tito is the only one doing any fighting against the Nazis. Mihailovich is a collaborator and traitor. And because of that false intelligence, Churchill and then the United States cut Mihailovich off. So you got nothing, and all they went to Tito. Yugoslavia went communist. The same thing was then repeated in China the next year. Only the communists were fighting Japan. Chiang Kai-shek was a collaborator and traitor. So we cut off Chiang Kai-shek, and the communists take over China. It's the same drill.